like I said before, the flight attendants are going through their vote right now. And November 3rd, we find out. Somebody who's been a friend of the machinists and a friend to all of us in the airline industry. I'd like to bring up Jacob Easter, President, AFA, Council 96.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name is Jacob Easter, and I'm the president of the Association of Flight Attendants, representing pre-merger Northwest Airlines flight attendants in Boston, which have enjoyed over 62 years of collective bargaining. In April 2008, Northwest Airlines, an airline comprised mostly of unionized employees, and Delta Airlines, an airline which had only one major unionized work group, the pilots, represented by the Airline Pilots Association, announced their intent to merge. Just days later, it became apparent to the many employees that had enjoyed the legal right to collective bargaining for so long that we were in for the fight of our careers when the company already started speaking about representation issues. Naturally, with the Railway Labor Act in place, we knew as Northwest employees that a vote would be needed to resolve representation for the work groups, but never could we imagine what was in store for us over the next 2.5 years. While our non-contract Delta colleagues were given slight increases to their bankruptcy wages shortly after the merger was announced, management stated that because of our collective bargaining agreement, it was not something that could be extended to those represented until representation was resolved. Management began violating language in our collective bargaining agreement time and time again. While grievances had been filed, the company refused to respond to them as they were issues that they stated could only be dealt with once representation was resolved. Over the last 2.5 years, the term "until representation is resolved" became as familiar to us as the term for an additional fee became to airline passengers nationwide. In February of 2010, Delta management once again announced another wage increase for non-contract employees effective October 1st. As we approached the time that integration was inevitable, we patiently awaited the National Mediation Board to make changes to a 75-year-old rule in voting for airline and railroad employees that stated if you did not cast a vote in a union election, it counted as a no vote. Delta fought hard on this issue, starting with the rules stating that the rules are the rules and have been in place for over 75 years. Why change them now? I can't imagine if that's the way the entire nation still felt about democratic votes in America, preventing women and African Americans the rights to vote. I can't imagine where our country would be, yet my very own employer didn't believe that I or my coworkers deserved the same democracy in the workplace. In early summer of this year, the National Mediation Board ruled in favor of a change in the voting rules, which meant that we finally had the right to choose yes to representation or no for no representation. Only votes cast would be votes counted. As the AFA filed for an election with the National Mediation Board, the company began their aggressive campaign dubbed Decision 2010, citing that the only way to go was to maintain a direct relationship with management to preserve the unique culture which did not include unionization at Delta Airlines. Shortly thereafter, we began receiving high-cost, glossy flyers informing us the only way to not vote for AFA was to vote no. Signs have been plastered on every wall of every flight attendant lounge throughout 12 bases. Getting the fact is what they've stated from management, under banners that read Decision 2010. And our employee buses have been retrofitted with Decision 2010, everyone must vote placards in our larger stations. The mailers keep coming. Our company website has become a countdown meter to the close of the vote, and as of this Tuesday, management has begun calling us, including myself, the president of a local union, to remind us that everyone must vote prior to the polls closing on November 3rd at 2 p.m. The employees represented by collective bargaining for so long stand to lose decades of language and protections that our union have fought so hard to preserve throughout the years for their members. We need the support of our fellow union brothers and sisters more now than ever. Without collective bargaining in the workplace, our entire industry stands to lose by lowering the standard amongst our colleagues. In closing, we ask for you to please support the flight attendants and our brothers and sisters represented by the IAM in the fight for our legal voice at Delta Airlines. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We look forward to working together today and in the future, more now than ever. And this behind me, it's kind of blocked by the podium. This is just half of what we have received. This one's bigger, so it's more fun to build. This is just half of what we have received in the mail from our employer. We receive DVDs, we receive phone calls, we come to work and receive flyers that disappear constantly from our union members. We have a unique situation in Boston in the fact that we have an equal number of pre-merger Northwest Airlines flight attendants and pre-merger Delta flight attendants. Unfortunately, we do not have the support of our brothers and sisters at pre-merger Delta in Boston. It is mind-boggling to me that in today's society, with industry standard being lower than it was a decade ago, that is acceptable to Delta Airlines. But that is exactly what it is. They have received industry standard wages across the board. I believe your ACS below wing employees, our flight attendants, industry standard has been approved as acceptable by Delta Airlines employees. Yesterday we posted the largest profit in a decade, and industry standard is acceptable. So this is more important now than it ever was, and we are going to fight. November 3rd, we hope to have a success. We believe we have the numbers. System-wide, we have 12 bases, so we continue to be visible to our members. We have some bag tags over there next to the IAM stuff. They are Pro Delta, Pro AFA tags. Throw one on your bag. You may get a snarl from an Atlanta-based flight attendant, but that's okay. You've got the other places supporting you. Atlanta, 6,000 flight attendants, and they have a different mentality in Atlanta than they do in the rest of the nation. So we work for that, but we will find out on November 3rd at about 2:10 what the situation is. So thank you for your support. It's nice to have the support of the collective groups, the unions system-wide throughout the airline industry. I know we also have AFL-CIO, and it's been a great alliance, so we appreciate that, and we look forward to working with everyone in this room for a long time.